Hello guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome back to another video. We would like to apologize and just say we're so sorry about not posting yesterday. Our computer completely died, and so we are using our new computer. If you would, please leave a comment down below to let us know if the sound is better, worse, or even the same. For those of you who don't know me, I am Lena Lilith, and today we're going to be diving into DID and OSDD and the different types of alters. Now, as we said in the beginning of our DID OSDD mini-series, alters are formed when there is severe and/or repeated trauma that occurs around the ages of 5 to 9ish, when a child's personality is beginning to form. This trauma causes breaks and cracks known as amnesia walls, which quote-unquote kind of splits the personality up. Above, I will be putting our basic terms video, and at the end, we will have the playlist of our DID OSDD mini-series. Now, before we begin, we would like to just put a quick trigger warning for talks of trauma, persecutors, etc. If any of the following content may be triggering, please use your best judgment to determine your next steps. Your safety is very important and should take precedence. Now, let's begin. Host. The host is said to be the alter which fronts the most. However, who gets to be the host? For some systems, the host is the, quote, original alter personality. We'll kind of discuss that more in detail in another video later on. However, the host does not have to be the original. While in our system, I am the host and am considered the original, there's another system that is on YouTube named Bobo and Company, in which their host at one point was the original, however, it no longer is. Protector. Their name kind of says it all. The protector is one who, well, protects the system. However, they can also protect, in particular, certain members of the system, such as trauma holders or littles. Their methods can differ depending on the situation, the people they're around, like whether or not they know we're a system or not, and also the alter's personality. Persecutors. Persecutors are alters who will cause harm to the system. This can be in the inner world or to the physical body itself. Many persecutors are actually protectors who are confused on how to protect the system. Often this is due to them feeling or believing that the body is still in danger. Persecutors are not evil alters. So if you have them or know someone who does, please do not ask if they're going to harm you. Do not treat them as though they're evil. Do not treat them like an outcast. They're people too. They just need some love and a little help. Now, a persecutor protector. This is an alter who is both protector and persecutor. Again, like persecutors, they are not evil alters. They want to protect the system just as much as anyone else in the system. However, their methods are not ideal. A common method of protection is by isolation. However, this can cause many problems when it comes to relationships with your significant others, family, friends, work, school, etc. Gatekeepers. Gatekeepers tend to have access to all the memories and aspects of the inner world. They control who can and can't gain access to certain memories or parts of the inner world. In our system, we have someone who is both a protector and gatekeeper. It's kind of their way of protecting our system from harm, whether it be all of us or in particular members. Little. The definition of littles, well, kind of changes depending on the system. Some say littles are 5 and younger in age or 10 and under, etc. For us, we define it as an alter who is 10 or less. When it comes to littles, it's important to treat them as you would anyone else that age. If you wouldn't do it around a child, don't do it around a little. Littles can also kind of struggle with body dysmorphia because their age and size in the inner world doesn't match with the physical body when they front. No matter their age, they can be verbal, nonverbal, and they can possess special talents like driving. Non-human. Non-human alters can be, well, anything. They can be animals, inanimate objects, aliens, etc. Basically anything that's considered not human. Now, there's many theories as to why someone can have non-human alters, and it's all different depending on the child and what their mind felt it needed in that moment. Some might think, oh, if I was a cat, I could just squeeze between bars and just run away like we see in all the cartoons. Or if I was an inanimate object and just stood really still, I just get ignored. Twins. Twins are just the same as the name suggests. Twins. Just like twins that are born, they can be identical or look and act nothing alike. They can be, quote, adults, littles, non-human, etc. How twins are formed is, well, not really known. However, many cases show that twins are formed from the same trauma. One with trauma, while the other has no trauma. This is true of our system. We have a set of twins and then technically a set of triplets. We'll introduce you to everyone in our Meet the Alters video later on in the series. Now, some alters can be trauma holders, like I mentioned earlier, while others are considered non-trauma holders. Trauma holders have memories of either a specific event or they have multiple memories of multiple traumas. Non-trauma holders have no known trauma. This can be because, well, they don't have any trauma, or they don't know that they have trauma. Now, just like in a system, there are systems who don't find out that they're a system until they're in their 70s, 80s. It can be the same of someone in the system. This can be because, well, they're twins, so they don't even hold trauma. 2, a gatekeeper has locked the memories away if you have a gatekeeper in your system. Or amnesia. It's pretty much a system thing. Ghost and dead alters. This one is very confusing, and like most things when it comes to DID and OSDD, specifically in like alters and the forming of alters, there is very little known. So I will try to explain it the best way that we can. Now, alters cannot necessarily die. They can, however, integrate together. However, with this, they don't die. And we'll kind of go into integration in a later video because it's a very touchy subject when it comes to systems. Now, ghost and dead alters can be zombies, they can be actual ghosts, etc. And like I said earlier, there's little to no knowledge on these types of alters specifically, but just alters in general. We, however, do actually have a ghost alter. They're very pale, and yes, no one can touch them. Personally, I have not met them, but our gatekeeper and protector and a couple others have met them. And so they've kind of told me bits and pieces just so I can do this video. Hopefully you'll get to meet them later on, and if not, we'll kind of do a mini introduction for them if they're not comfortable enough coming out and sharing. Fragment. Fragments are alters who, well, aren't fully formed. Typically, fragments have a single job, and for some, do not have to front at all. What I mean by single job is some fragments are there solely to help clean, or to cook, or to care for others. They cannot and do not do anything else besides their dedicated and specified job. For instance, we found out that we had a fragment towards the beginning of this pandemic who is a germaphobe, which is a little funny considering we're in the midst of a pandemic and the fact that I work in a hospital. But we found out because they clean and clean and clean and clean and clean, and they have very different organization skills compared to me. So I ended up losing like half of my stuff and I found them in another place in my room, which can be very terrifying. However, now that I understand that it is because of this fragment, we've been able to kind of communicate and gain a little more order. Fictives and factives. I put these here because they're similar, but with a twist. How they're similar is both of these come from something else. And yes, technically trauma, however, something else. Fictives are alters who are based on a character that comes from not reality, if you will. They are fictionally based. This could be a character out of a book, a movie, a series that you like watching, etc. Factives, on the other hand, are based on someone in real life. This could be someone you looked up to. This could even be the person that caused you harm, etc. They're just based on an actual person. Now, these next slides are probably going to sound like I'm talking more about a video game or something, but I promise you I'm not. These are other types of alters who can be in a system. So just hang with me for a second. Emotional parts, or EP, are alters/fragments who deal with emotions. This can be one single emotion, such as anger or sadness, or they can do all emotions. NPCs, or non-playable characters, typically reside in the inner world. They are alters, however, they don't front and are mainly there to kind of fill in certain gaps and pieces here and there. One of the few systems that I know of, which is Multiplicity and Me, actually has some NPCs. We personally don't have NPCs, which makes it a little more difficult to talk about. Now, apparently normal parts, or ANP, this is an alter who is considered rational, they're present-oriented, and they're grounded. And some research has shown that they kind of tend to resemble the person pre-trauma. However, it is kind of important to make a note here that you have to remember, in order to have DID or OSDD, trauma has to be present, whether it is known trauma or not known. So, kind of a quick recap. Alters are formed due to trauma around the ages of 5 to 9-ish. There are many types of alters, and honestly, we probably didn't even cover all of them. And alters can be more than one thing. Persecutors and persecutor protectors are not, I cannot stress that enough, not. Just bold it, italics, underline it, put it with very pretty font. They are not evil alters. And if you have a little or meet a little, if you wouldn't do it around a little, you won't do it with them. So just treat them the same like you would anyone else. Now, we hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that bell so you get notified whenever we post next. Until next time.